This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
Early voting is safe and it's secure. I encourage as many people to get out as possible, but I also think that it's extremely important as elected officials and those that are running for office that we have to recognize the decisions that the voters make.
The minute that you think that we've done the absolute best we can, something will happen and then people will point the finger and say you weren't prepared. I think that we are as prepared as we possibly can be.
We just really want to get the word out that the Y is doing all of these great things, and once these projects are funded, the community will definitely benefit from all of the different things going on within each of them.
That is a preview of what we've got coming up for you on News 8 Now this morning. It is October 26, 2022. Good morning to you. I'm Jordan Fremstad.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
Derek, I had to pull out the ice scraper this morning.
Yikes.
And not something I wanted to do, but like we said in the first hour, Mother Nature doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, that's why I have a garage, Jordan, because I just don't want to tolerate the ice scraping and, of course, getting all the snow off when that time comes, right? But yeah, it's getting to that time of year, though, here, unfortunately, and we'll be doing a lot more of that, as we all know here in the upper Midwest, right, as we get closer towards the winter season. But temperatures as you head out the door are in the 30s, 35 in La Crosse, it's 36 in Sparta, 27 is the temperature currently in Black River Falls, and it's 34 in Eau Claire this morning. Good morning to you. Temperature change here over the last 24 hours. Well, I can tell you it's a lot cooler, as temperature readings are about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday morning, and almost 15 degrees cooler in Black River Falls from the last 24 hours ago. Looking at some cloudy weather that moved through overnight, but if you look to the west, there is some clearing skies, and that is associated with some drier air moving in across the area, which will help create mostly sunny weather conditions for us to work with come later this afternoon. And at the same time, our temperatures also should warm up at least into the low 50s here today, so maybe slightly warmer than what we just had yesterday as well. We'll talk more about this in the full weather forecast in detail. Jordan?
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Derek. A Black River Falls couple is charged with a combined dozen felonies, most involving child sex crimes. Jennifer Zillmer and her husband Casey are being held in the Jackson County Jail. On Tuesday, Jennifer's attorney asked the court to release her on a signature bond. The judge denied that request and instead reduced Jennifer's bond to $4,000 cash. Casey Zillmer is being held on $10,000 cash. The midterm elections are 2 weeks away, and President Biden is determined to keep the House and Senate in Democratic hands. He directed a Democratic National Committee to immediately move $10 million to the House and Senate campaign committees and offered another $8 million to those groups through fundraising. Wisconsin State Treasurer Sarah Godlewski says Republican candidates have been dishonest with voters over a potential referendum on abortion. Godlewski joined 3rd Congressional District candidate Brad Pfaff on Tuesday in a roundtable for reproductive rights at UW-La Crosse. The Eau Claire native says any politician who says a decision on abortion should be left to the states is fooling you.
You, as an active citizen, cannot petition and get a bunch of votes to add something to our Constitution. And so when politicians say, let's vote on a constitutional amendment, they're actually not being truthful, and we don't have that ability in our state.
State lawmakers would have to propose an amendment, and it would have to pass in both the Assembly and Senate during 2 consecutive legislative sessions. Only then would voters see the question on the ballot. In-person voting has begun in Wisconsin. Wisconsin Democrats gathered in La Crosse on Tuesday for the first day of the Get Out the Early Vote effort. Several lawsuits focused on absentee voting process are making their way through the court system, and some polls show more Republican voters concerned over the security of future elections. Pfaff says America's elections are secure and both sides of the aisle should respect the results.
Early voting is safe and it's secure. I encourage as many people to get out as possible, but I also think that it's extremely important as elected officials and those that are running for office that we have to recognize the decisions that the voters make.
Pfaff's opponent, Derek Van Orden, sent a statement to News 8 Now. He says his campaign today is talking directly with voters over issues that matter to them. Prices are rising and a recession could be looming. Polls show that is the biggest concern right now among voters, but that's not the case for many bankers. Amy Kiley has more from both groups.
And sometimes I only eat one meal a day. Recent polls show inflation and the economy are the biggest issues among voters. But some of the nation's top bankers say they're worried about something else.
Everything is going up except our income.
A new report indicates consumer confidence is the lowest it's been since July, and the conference board says inflation is the main reason for the drop.
I'm taking maybe a week to two longer between haircuts.
Higher prices are forcing some people to curb their spending. If enough Americans do that, financial experts say the whole economy could slow down.
I think the economy is likely sometime in the next year, year and a half to go into recession.
Plenty of people who run the nation's financial sector think that too.
Economic conditions are going to tighten meaningfully from here.
Remember what the 2008 recession was like for some businesses in that industry?
These are stunning developments. Two of Wall Street's iconic names, Lehman Brothers and Merrill Lynch, falling on the same day.
But some top bankers and investors say inflation and a possible recession are not their biggest concerns. A group of them has been meeting in Saudi Arabia this week.
We'll manage right through that. I would worry much more about the geopolitics of the world today.
Specifically,
there's an existential risk of war, international war.
When Bear Stearns and Washington Mutual crashed, Jamie Dimon led J.P. Morgan's efforts to scoop them up. It brought those banking giants at rock bottom prices. An event to discuss the past, present, and future of our economy. Community members and area business professionals were at UW La Crosse's campus Tuesday to talk about life post-pandemic. Business owners told their stories of how they overcame the pandemic, and UWL administrators discussed the current economic climate. The dean of UWL's College of Business Administration says the pandemic had long-lasting effects on Americans' work lives.
People's experience suggests that work can be done differently for some industries and some firms. And so I think you'll never go back to sort of for the entire economy, a picture that looks exactly like it did in 2019.
State Bank Financial and the La Crosse Tribune helped sponsor and fund that event. Still to come on your Wednesday morning news, Adidas has officially cut ties with music artist Kanye West. What this means for both parties, we'll explain just ahead. And Coca-Cola products could start to look different starting next year. What plans the company has and more coming up after the break. With that in mind, we are sending you to break with something to put the good in your Wednesday morning. Dressing your newborn up for Halloween is a memorable moment for most parents, but for babies born prematurely, a traditional costume isn't always an option as they recover in the hospital. But Nurse Joanne is making sure parents don't miss out on their baby's first Halloween experience. All 52 costumes are unique and handmade by Joanne. New costumes this year include a fox and an ice cream cone. What a nice distraction for those parents going through that time too. It can be stressful, I'm sure. It is 6:08. Your latest forecast is just ahead. We'll be right back right after this.
Skies looking clear there from City Cam May. Temperatures in the 30s. It's 33 in Sparta now and 27 degrees in Black River Falls. Much cooler. Meanwhile, Winona, you're currently at 32 degrees. And overall, that's about a 5 to 10 degrees of a cooler difference in many spots here this morning across the Coulee region. We did have some cloud cover yesterday and also into those overnight hours, but it looks like it's beginning to clear out as some drier air to the west begins to filter in. Let's talk about your zone forecast today. La Crosse County going to be warming up into the low 50s with lots of sunshine here to work with here come this afternoon. It'll be 52 in Lansing and sunny today. Meanwhile, 49 and clear in Viroqua. Same in Westby here. 51 degrees and sunny in Sparta this afternoon and 51 in Arcadia in Trempealeau County. Highs reaching the upper 40s to low 50s though for those of us here in the north zones with lots of sunshine. For your schoolcast this morning, skies partly cloudy, 34 degrees, and then 44 and partly cloudy for the lunch hour before turning mostly sunny this afternoon. Will be 48 degrees around dismissal. I have a check on your weather forecast still to come.
Adidas has officially cut ties with Kanye West. West drew criticism for recent anti-Semitic comments. Adidas released a statement Tuesday saying it does not tolerate anti-Semitism or any other sort of hate speech. The decision will cost Adidas nearly $250 million. However, the separation will cost West more, as his partnership with Adidas was reportedly $1.5 billion of his net worth. The messaging platform WhatsApp suffered a major outage on Tuesday. Now, the Down Detector reports about 70,000 reports of outages as of early Tuesday morning. The cause is still unclear. The company Facebook, which owns WhatsApp, says the issue is fixed and apologized for the inconvenience. Coca-Cola's CEO said on Tuesday the company has plans to add more varieties of cans, bottles, and value packs. It's all in an effort to offer cash-strapped consumers more options to spend less. Earlier this year, Coca-Cola announced a goal to sell at least a quarter of its beverages worldwide in refillable or returnable containers by the year 2030. America's latest recycling report card shows a failing grade. A study found paper, cardboard, and metals are all recycled at a high rate, but plastic continues to be trash. CBS's Elise Preston found out only 5% of household plastic waste is being recycled.
Households across the country haul plastic recycling to the curb every week, but a new Greenpeace report finds it's really a dead-end street. According to the report, U.S. households generated about 51 million tons of plastic waste last year. Just 2.4 million tons were recycled. That's only about 5%.
Plastics are just really difficult to recycle, and that's why these numbers are so low.
The difficulties range from basic economics to contamination. The plastics industry is advocating chemical recycling to reuse material.
We bring in used plastic, we heat it up, we vaporize it, and we have a phase change separation from all the fillers and dyes and inks that are in that plastic.
Greenpeace argues the technology is unproven and it doesn't solve the whole issue.
By focusing on chemical recycling, we're ignoring the rest of the problems that plastics create.
One way for consumers to be involved in a solution is to stop buying single-use plastic and use refillable containers instead.
Sounds good.
Rachel Garcia owns Dry Goods Refillery in Montclair, New Jersey, a plastic-free grocery store where customers bring their own reusable containers.
The idea of bringing your own container isn't something new and novel. I want it to feel like in 5 years, this is so normal that it's like your coffee shop or like your pizzeria, that there can be one in every town.
More stores like this one have popped up in recent years, but the practice is far from common. Greenpeace says it's up to consumers and legislation to ultimately turn the tide on plastic.
Now, common household items like yogurt containers, drink cups, and some films are among the least recyclable kinds of plastic.
35 degrees with clear skies overhead now in La Crosse, but we're still working with a north wind, though, at 6 miles an hour. We do have a wind chill factor of 30 degrees this morning. That is the feel-like temperature on the exposed skin, so I want to make sure that you bundle up here a bit. River stage, by the way, 5.28 feet and dropping. Meanwhile, current conditions to the north in Eau Claire, you're at 34 degrees, a little cloudier, though. West-northwest winds at around 7, a feel-like temperature of 28 degrees at the moment. Current temperatures across the rest of the area, mainly into the 30s this morning. And as you step outside the door, you'll notice a difference, though, because it's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler here than what it was just 24 hours ago. Let's get a check down your daycast. Partly cloudy, 34 at 7, 44 and partly cloudy again by noon today. And then skies then turn mostly sunny by 5. It will be around 48 degrees later this afternoon. 9 p.m. partly cloudy, temperatures at around 40 degrees. With forecast highs today, expect to reach those upper 40s. If not, you'll be in the low 50s. And we can say that many spots today should at least reach those low 50s. We did have some cloudy weather here as well yesterday and also overnight, but it looks like there are some changes, some drier air eroding some of those clouds here from the west, and there's a good reason for that, which we'll talk about in a second. But we're still kind of feeling the effect from that trough of low pressure here off to the east. That's why we're still looking at some clouds here on the west side, but also more importantly, that north wind sending in that cooler air across the area. Now that is changing because we do have an area of high pressure towards the west that is building across the central plains, and the indications are that system's going to move east, and eventually that will warm up our temperatures well into the 60s by the end of the work week, this weekend, and also into early next week as well. In fact, we could be hitting the mid-60s in some spots here too as that high pressure system moves east to give us some warmer air here to work with. Now, it's going to be moving towards the east here as we head into Thursday. So we'll be on the west side. So even though we have some cloudy skies here moving in from the west from a disturbance, we will get that south wind to help keep us relatively warm here for a while. And then by Thursday afternoon, still got some clouds, but keep in mind that south wind will still be in place here for us, even through Friday too. Really looking at some more sunshine here too as the clouds clear out, sunshine takes over, and that south wind keeping us very warm here over the by the end of this work week, heading into the weekend here, as mentioned before we start to see some cloudier weather move in by Sunday. Halloween looks good, 61 degrees and partly cloudy, highs into the mid-60s Tuesday and Wednesday with lows in the 30s and 40s. Stay with us though, much more news and weather still to come here on News 8 Now this morning, but we're taking a quick break. Here's a look at what happened on this day in history. We'll be right back. Well, temperatures this morning are well into the 30s, 33 in Sparta and 34 in Viroqua. We're looking at temperature readings at 32 in Winona this morning. We had some cloudy skies yesterday, and that kind of lingered here last night here as well, but there's some drier air back towards the west, which is going to give us some clearer conditions to work with, especially those of you heading off to the morning walks with you and your furry friend, looking good, especially by the evening. Skies will be turning mostly sunny there. As we take into the mowing forecast for this morning, maybe a little cool out there at 7, 34 degrees, but 42 will be the temperature at 11. Skies turn mostly sunny at 3. It'll be better here if you're doing any mowing out there. 50 degrees here come this afternoon. But stay tuned. We'll have a check on your full weather forecast still to come a little bit later.
Welcome to the Blitz. It's playoff time in Minnesota. The state's high school football playoffs kicking off last night. Let's start in Caledonia. The Warriors at home, hosting Lewiston Altura, already up 7-0. Looking for more. The Cardinals fumble it. Warriors pounce on it. Eric Moss coming out of the pack. Going to take it all the way to the house for another Warriors score. It's 14-0, but they were just heating up. Second quarter now. Ethan Stendel. He's rolling left, tossing it up to Bronson Knutson. Look at the footwork here from the senior, staying in bounds, getting across the goal line for another Caledonia score. It's 21-0 Warriors. They get the shutout win, 47-0. Rushford Peterson opening their quest to return to Minneapolis, hosting Hayfield. Pick things up in the third. RP already up big. Defense, a big part of it. A long pass downfield. Dalton Hole comes up with the pick. He's looking to make things happen. Makes a man miss. Gets some blocks. And he is into the end zone. Trojans take a 34-0 lead. Fourth quarter, Rush Pete near midfield. Jonah Bunk gets the handoff. He's going to find some open field, makes a nice move. He keeps going for another score for the guys in green. Trojans give up the shutout late, but they still roll to a 41-6 victory. They travel to Bethlehem Academy on Saturday. Winona also getting their playoff run underway, hosting Albert Lee. First minute of the game, Windhawks starting fast. Dominic Davis gets the handoff, the edge, a block, and that's the combo for a quick score. Winona up 7-0. Barely 5 minutes later, it's Davis again. This time he's up the middle, lowers his shoulder to get by the defenders just like that. 14-0. Windhawks get the win, 56-13 the final. They travel to Casson Manorville on Saturday. Let's head to La Crescent. Hoka Lancers hosting Zumbrota Mazeppa late first quarter. Jaden George makes it 7-0 Lancers. Then it's Carter Todd downfield, wide open. He's going to take it 67 yards to the house. 14-0 La Crescent. The defense also stepping up for the Lancers last night. Drew Todd comes up with the pick, and that's going to be a pick 6. Todd gets in for another Lancer TD. La Crescent Hoka wins it big at home. They're moving on 49-28. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
It is just before 6:30 here on this Wednesday morning, and breaking overnight, WNBA player Brittany Griner will stay in a Russian prison for 9 years. That is what a judge decided on Tuesday, turning down Griner's appeal for a lighter sentence. The WNBA star was convicted of smuggling drugs into the country. Officials say there is concern she's being used as a political pawn as Russia wages war against Ukraine. A new report finds governments and companies are still encouraging fossil fuel extraction and burning. According to a report on health and climate change, many governments are undermining efforts to reverse climate change. Researchers say this delay is making it harder for families to afford growing energy bills. It also exposes people to unhealthy levels of indoor pollution. China kicked off registration and reservation for inhaled COVID-19 vaccine booster shots on Tuesday. The vaccination starts today. Exhale, inhale, and hold your breath for at least 5 seconds and then breathe normally. That whole process will be less than 1 minute. A stark piece of Minnesota's history has finally found its forever home more than 15 years after changing the course of history in a day we'll never forget. Adam Duxter explains the path it took to get to this point and why leaders at St. Thomas are hopeful it can be a learning tool for decades to come.
As the sun rises over the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, so too rises a reminder.
I just can't imagine what the impact's going to be with students.
A reminder of one of the most shocking and sad days in Minnesota's history.
This piece is about education and what we can do going forward.
On the day the 35W bridge collapsed more than 15 years ago, these two gusset plates sat on its north end. For the next few years after, they sat in a field. And since 2013, they've sat in storage.
These pieces are actually literally a mirror image of the pieces that started the failure. So our students can learn and see the scale of these pieces that started to fail.
Now, Dean Don Weinkauf hopes they'll finally stand as a symbol for students about the connection between engineering and society.
To see this, as part of their classes, as a part of their work, and then just understanding the power of the forces at play that day.
And much like the memorial here in Minneapolis, the folks at St. Thomas say their goal isn't to celebrate what happened, but to remember it and serve as a permanent reminder for their civil engineering students how important their job will one day be.
We have to be deliberate about how we learn from it. And I think that this installation is really a powerful example of that.
Now, the new facility the bridge pieces sit in will be home to arts, communications, and engineering, and it is expected to open in January of 2024. A federal building in Minneapolis got a new name on Tuesday in honor of late Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone. Wellstone died exactly 20 years ago on Tuesday. The plane he was in went down in Eveleth, Minnesota. The crash claimed the lives of the senator, his wife and daughter, staff members, and pilots. Dave Wellstone spoke about the legacy his father left behind.
Everything that my dad and my mom and everybody in that crash stood for, working for people, for regular folks like you said that didn't have a voice. That's the legacy.
Wellstone was viewed as an icon by his peers and competitors. Nearly 100 Wisconsin troops are back home following a 6-month deployment. Members of the 128th Control Squadron were welcomed to Volk Field on Tuesday morning. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen was there.
Feels like we were just here saying goodbye to all of you.
6 months later.
Families, I'm sure to you it does not feel like yesterday that we were here in this hangar.
Volk Field welcomed 90 members of the 128th Air Control Squadron back to Wisconsin. Welcomed back into the arms of the people who love them.
It's wonderful. There is just a sense of relief, a sense of happiness.
This was Commander Cynthiana Bergman's third and final deployment.
Every leadership lesson I've ever taken, I was pulling from all of it.
Challenging her military skills and her most important role of wife and mom.
We talked almost every day on the phone, but it certainly is different to hug and to be there and to just help out around the house.
Bergman's husband, Brian, stepped up to support her, taking over the mission at home.
It was a very challenging experience to be responsible for the family needs.
Over the last 6 months, families found ways to stay close, even when apart.
He was my rock.
now reunited.
When she walked in the house early in the morning and surprised her kids and her daughter, and Corey, the youngest, just cried and hugged. And it was pretty special.
A family back under one roof.
Now that this deployment is complete, those service members are going to return right back to their lives at home. Reporting at Vogue Field, this is Emily Haugen for News 8 Now.
All right, thanks a lot, Emily. This squadron performed air surveillance, aircraft tracking, and command and control of aircraft operations throughout the Middle East, and we're happy to have them back here at home. The St. Louis school shooting is once again raising questions about safety in schools, including schools in western Wisconsin. On Monday, a man entered a St. Louis high school, killed a teacher and a student, and wounded 7 others. La Crosse School Board President Juan Jimenez says the district works hard to prevent acts of violence, but the nature of violent acts like the one in St. Louis can make things complicated.
The minute that you think that we've done the absolute best we can, something will happen, and then people will point the finger and say you weren't prepared. I think that we are as prepared as we possibly can be.
The Wisconsin Department of Justice has been training 12 critical incident response teams. Their mission is to lessen the psychological impact of violent incidents. Saturday is Drug Take-Back Day in the community, and people can dispose of their unwanted medication at several take-back boxes. News 8 Now's Dua Israr spoke with Wisconsin's Attorney General Josh Kaul, who says getting rid of those meds is one of the first steps to prevent substance abuse.
Prescription medication is used to treat a variety of medical issues, but in the wrong hands, it can be deadly.
When you're under the weather, it's likely you've reached into a medicine cabinet for some relief. Addiction specialists say for kids, it can be a gateway to drug addiction.
They know these meds are out there, they've heard a lot about them, and they might be curious on what they can do.
Gunderson Health System physician Chris Eberlein says he treats roughly 1 overdose per week.
Many of those are due to prescription drugs that were in a medicine cabinet.
According to Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, prescription medication is a common starting point for substance abuse.
And that is one of the things that can lead to addictions, including addiction to opioids.
According to the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, in 2020, more than 1,200 Wisconsinites overdosed on opioids. And local counties, including La Crosse, have either met or broken records for opioid-related deaths year after year.
And especially now, as we've seen an increase in the danger of some of the opioids that are out there, like fentanyl.
Which is why state and local health officials say it's more important than ever to take part in Drug Take-Back Day.
People need to be aware that if they haven't been prescribed medications, taking those medications can be dangerous.
During the last Take-Back Day, Wisconsin led the nation for drugs collected. La Crosse County Sheriff Jeff Wolf says La Crosse has consistently participated in the event.
I am proud to say that over the past decade, we average over 250 pounds on every drug take-back that we have.
Wolf says La Crosse residents are doing their part to keep prescription medication out of the wrong hands.
Experts say to treat veterinary medications with just as much care as those for people. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Important information. Thanks a lot, Dua. Well, if you're interested in giving back your unwanted medications, we have posted a link to local drug take-back locations at news8000.com. Tuesday marked the first for the La Crosse YMCA. The first ever Giving Day is underway, and the fundraiser has a pretty big goal to raise $80,000 in just 36 hours. Donors can choose from 9 different projects, like replacing old gymnastics equipment or donating to a fund for health workers. Employees encourage people to donate, especially because these fundraising projects will make the community stronger.
We just really want to get the word out that the Y is doing all of these great things, and once these projects are funded, the community will definitely benefit from all of the different things going on within each of them.
The Y Giving Day donation page says they've already received nearly $15,000. A special fall cooking event is almost here. Grow is hosting their 5th Kids Cooking Challenge, and they're looking for enthusiastic participants. Registration will be open until Sunday, October 30th. For anybody 18 and under, kids will prepare a dish using mystery ingredients grown here in La Crosse. Organizers say kids should give the challenge a shot because the benefits are endless.
The pride and the confidence that it builds in youth to be able to really get involved in the cooking process and create something of their very own is really something special.
Grow volunteers will hand out beginner and advanced ingredients next week. 4 winners will be announced Friday, November 11th. 5 years of hard work just paid off. Winona State University has finally completed their leading energy savings and sustainability project. The project will reduce the university's environmental impact by using solar panels, electric vehicle charging stations, among other additions. However, this project is about more than improving students' education.
Yeah, it's nice to do the work, it's nice to have the recognition, but this is about really benefiting the students and doing things that are right for the state and for the environment at large.
There is a phase 2 of that project, but project planners are unsure of their next move.
Bit of a cool start to the morning with current temperature readings into the low to mid 30s. Some spots though, Black River Falls, you're cold, 26 degrees. Meanwhile in La Crosse it's 35. In Eau Claire to the north, you're currently looking at 34 degrees. About a 5 to 10 degrees of a cooler difference here this morning, so you'll notice it as you step outside the door here too. But you'll also notice the clouds will be on the decrease here today after what was a cloudy day yesterday and also overnight. And we've noticed here recently that the clouds here are beginning to lessen, and we'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with highs near 52 degrees, but still looking pretty cool though with northwest winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, we drop down to the freezing mark at 32, partly cloudy skies, overall colder, light and variable winds here as well. Now for your drivecast this morning, skies looking partly cloudy and a little cool out there, partly cloudy conditions for the lunch hour too, and then mainly sunny and overall clear conditions here to work with for the evening commute back. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast still to come. Jordan?
Thanks a lot, Derek. Well, actor Kevin Bacon will be making his debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can find out the role Bacon will play coming up in our Buzz Report just ahead. It is 6:42. We'll be right back right after this.
Skies are mainly clear in La Crosse with temperatures at 35 degrees. We do have a light wind out of the north at 6 miles an hour. Our river stage is at 5.28 feet and dropping along the Mississippi. For you in Eau Claire, a little cloudier, 34 degrees with light west-northwest winds at 7. A feel-like temperature thanks to the wind chill, 28 degrees is what it feels like on the exposed skin. But our temperature readings really across the area in general are mainly into the 30s. Our temperature change map does show us that we're about 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So you're going to see it here, or you're going to feel it, I should say, as you head out the door this morning. Pack the light jacket with you. Looking at 44 degrees under partly cloudy skies at noon today, and 5 o'clock, mostly sunny, 48 degrees. By noon, partly cloudy temperatures drop to about 40. Forecast highs today into the upper 40s to low 50s. So yet another cool day today across much of the Coulee region. Now, we had a pretty cloudy day yesterday, and we had some of those clouds working across the area as well. But we're starting to see some drier air move through because the clouds are starting to erode away. We're kind of still under the influence of this trough of low pressure with the associated front here that moved through a couple days ago. Still dragging in some cloud cover, but also more importantly dragging in that north wind. So it's still looking relatively cool, and that's the reason why our temperatures are feeling that way. But if we go to the west, a high pressure system is building across the Central Plains, and that system is going to be responsible for warming us up here by the end of the work week into the weekend and also into next week. Our high temperatures will pick up into the 60s. And again, it's thanks to that high here moving in across the area, which, by the way, is going to give us a lot of sunshine here to work with here throughout today, and also some relatively clear skies tonight as well. Now, as we head into tomorrow, it looks like that high is going to be moving towards the east, so that's going to give way to this next disturbance here moving in, providing the cloud cover across the area. But not to worry, because we'll be on the west side of that high. We'll get that south wind here to work with, which should help keep us at least warmer than what we've been seeing here recently. And despite the clouds here lasting into Friday, we will, or at least early Friday, we'll still be looking warm, but especially by the afternoon on Friday, because that's when the clouds will clear out, giving way to sunshine, and we will continue to provide that south wind here for us as well to help keep us much warmer than what we've been seeing recently here too. And the same can be said as we head into Friday night into the weekend too, with those temperatures looking much warmer with highs picking up into those low to mid 60s. Even Halloween Day looks pretty nice, 61 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and it looks like low to mid 60s again as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Lows in the 30s and 40s.
Imagine Dragons have released a new version of Bones just in time for Halloween. The new spin on the Dragons song was remixed by the electronic duo Two Colors and is accompanied by a black and white version of the song's zombified music video. Just in, Footloose is universally famous. Kevin Bacon joins the Marvel Cinematic Universe as himself, appearing in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. In it, the Guardians are trying to raise the spirit of Chris Pratt's Star-Lord as the holidays approach. Mantis and Drax go to Earth to find legendary actor Kevin Bacon, thinking he would be a perfect gift for Star-Lord. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special will start streaming on Disney Plus November 25th. With that in mind, we have got a birthday to celebrate this Wednesday morning.
That's right. Happy 8th birthday to Samantha. Now she loves to play outside with her dogs and her animals.
Samantha, the stage is all yours today. You're the solo birthday today. If you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80 years old, or 88 years old soon, make sure you let us know.
Yeah, just upload their photo to our website. It's news8000.com and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Well, we hope you can stay with us. We've got your latest forecast along with everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Your Morning News Now on this Wednesday. A reminder, Saturday is Drug Take-Back Day in the community. La Crosse residents can drop off any unwanted or unused medication at take-back locations during the last Take-Back Day. Wisconsin led the nation for drugs collected. Local counties, including La Crosse, have either met or broken records for opioid-related deaths consistently. Sheriff Jeff Wolf says La Crosse has consistently participated in drug take-back days to make the county safer.
I'm proud to say that over the past decade, we average over 250 pounds on every drug take-back that we have.
Physicians at Gunderson Health System say they treat at least one overdose per week. As a reminder, experts say always store prescription medication away from the reach of younger children. The St. Louis school shooting is once again raising questions about safety at all schools, including schools right here in western Wisconsin. On Monday, a man entered a St. Louis high school where he killed a teacher and a student and wounded 7 others. La Crosse School Board President Juan Jimenez says the district works hard to prevent acts of violence, but the nature of violent acts like the one in St. Louis can make things complicated.
The minute that you think that we've done the absolute best we can, something will happen and then people will point the finger and say you weren't prepared. I think that we are as prepared as we possibly can be.
The Wisconsin Department of Justice has been training 12 critical incident response teams. Their mission is to lessen the psychological impact of violent incidents.
Quiet weather conditions now with temperatures well into the 30s outside, but we will be looking at 40s here later this afternoon, 50s right around that 3 o'clock hour, as at the same time skies will then turn mostly sunny.
An event to discuss the past, present, and future of our economy. Community members and area business professionals were on the UW La Crosse campus Tuesday to talk about life post-pandemic. Business owners told their stories of how they overcame the pandemic, and UWL administrators discussed the current economic climate. The dean of UWL's College of Business Administration says the pandemic had long-lasting effects on Americans' work lives.
People's experience suggests that work can be done differently for some industries and some firms. And so I think you'll never go back to sort of for the entire economy, a picture that looks exactly like it did in 2019.
State Bank Financial and the La Crosse Tribune helped sponsor and fund that event. Tuesday marked the first for the La Crosse YMCA. The first ever Giving Day is underway, and the fundraiser has a pretty big goal of raising $80,000 in just 36 hours. Donors can choose from 9 different projects, like replacing old gymnastics equipment or donating to a fund for health workers. Employees encourage people to donate, especially because these fundraising projects will make the community stronger.
We just really want to get the word out that the Y is doing all of these great things, and once these projects are funded, the community will definitely benefit from all of the different things going on within each of them.
The Y Giving Day donation page says they've already received nearly $15,000.
And as you head out the door this morning, it's pretty cool out there. 35 degrees at 8 and partly cloudy at noon today. Mostly sunny, though, later this afternoon with temperatures into the upper 40s to low 50s.
Well, don't forget to keep up with the news of the day at news8000.com. And, of course, we'll have the latest coming up this afternoon on News 8 Now at noon. I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. CBS Mornings follows us here, and Derek and I will see you right back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. Have a great day.